Life is full of surprises you can't predict, I thought that night, sitting alone in the small hotel room with Gary. My husband Logan, who had been in another city for the last few months, had already left me so tense. I missed him, of course, but it wasn't just that he wasn't there. It was his negligence, his lack of interest, the real problem. The lonely nights were eating away at my soul, but how was I supposed to know that asking my stepson Gary to drive me to see my father would end with us stuck in a hotel room together? A small hotel room with a single bed. I had no idea what was about to happen. Let me tell you everything from the beginning. Every little detail. Believe me, the end of the story is going to be much more thrilling than you expect. That morning as I left the house, I caught a quick glimpse of myself in the mirror. I was tense, yes, but I still looked good, even with Logan leaving me so alone. I still felt desirable. I still felt alive, but even those feelings were no longer enough. They didn't satisfy me in the kitchen. Gary was finishing breakfast when I called out to him from behind. "You're starting college at the end of the summer." "I know, but you need to improve your driving. Come on, take me to your grandfather." He looked at me with that same mischievous smile as always. Gary was a sweet guy with a funny and quirky side, but sometimes he could be a bit troublesome. "Okay, stepmom," he said, joking, but with one condition. "Tell Dad to get me a better car for the summer." "We'll talk," I said curtly, rushing him along. Though inside, I was thinking about making this trip, but I had no idea that the trip wouldn't go as planned. We'd been driving for about 2 hours. I was in the back seat playing with my phone while Gary hummed some random song on the radio, cracking silly jokes every now and then that only made him laugh. Suddenly, the car made a horrible noise, a hiss, and then it shut off completely. "What's happening?" I asked, trying not to sound too scared. "I think the car broke down," Gary muttered. He pulled over to the side of the road, visibly annoyed, so we were stuck in the middle of nowhere. My phone had barely any signal, and there was no one to help us. We spent 2 hours arguing, calling every mechanic we could find, and trying to fix the thing. Finally, we had to accept the obvious. The only option was to spend the night at the nearest motel. At the reception desk, while Gary talked to the guy at the front, I stood behind him, frustrated as hell. If Logan finds out about this, he's going to go crazy, I thought. But curiously, at that moment, I didn't feel like it mattered much deep down. I knew this night was going to change things before this story gets even crazier. Subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Believe me, you won't want to miss the rest at the end. I'd love to see your support in the comments and with those likes when we get there. Room and I opened the door. All my expectations vanished. The space was tiny, barely big enough to turn around in, a bed, a nightstand, a dim and flickering light on the ceiling that made everything look dirty. The ceiling felt low, the air conditioner barely worked, and the only small window overlooked the parking lot. "This is it," I murmured, disappointed. Gary came in behind me laughing. "What did you expect? A 5-star hotel, relaxed stepmom? It's just one night." That mocking tone again, that same cheeky smile. It drove me crazy, but at the same time, it awakened something inside me that I couldn't explain. And though I hated to admit it, the idea of being stuck here alone with Gary tonight didn't seem so bad. Gary came in behind me laughing. "What did you expect? A 5-star hotel. We're only here for one night. Relax, stepmom." That mocking tone, along with that cheeky smile, only worsened my frustration, but at the same time, I couldn't say I hated Gary's carefree and relaxed attitude entirely. Being near him, though I'd never admit it, awakened something inside me, a kind of excitement I didn't fully understand. "This heat is killing me," I said, rubbing the back of my neck. "I think I need a shower or I'm going to pass out." Sure, Gary said, flopping onto the bed casually and lying on his back. "This is your kingdom, Carmen. Do whatever you need to feel at home." I looked at him for a second. His slim but toned figure, combined with the slight boyish tone of his face, gave him a strange charm. But I quickly tried to shake the thought from my head. After all, he was Logan's son, my stepson. I went into the bathroom and closed the door behind me for a moment. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. My hair was sticking to my skin from the heat, but I still looked good. I still had that spark as I turned on the shower. I let the water run and stepped under it, hoping it would wash away the mess of emotions building up inside me. I'm 47 years old, I thought. And Gary's no longer a kid. He's 22. He's about to start college, and here we are, stuck together in this small hotel room for a couple of days. The thought unsettled and excited me in a way I couldn't describe. Logan flashed into my mind. Logan, I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to come see you to be with you, but now I'm stuck in this hotel room with your son, and I don't know how to feel about it. The steam from the shower filled the small bathroom. The heat relaxed my body while my mind raced. Gary's smile, his laid-back nature, awakened something unexpected inside me. Standing under the stream of water. I didn't know what that spark would turn into, but I knew something would change later. I decided to go down for dinner and clear my head a bit. I put on a light, flowy dress. It was perfect for the heat, but it also made me feel a little more at ease as I tried to shake off the strange tension. The hotel restaurant was simple but cozy, fitting for such a small place. I ordered a light meal and a glass of wine, hoping it would help me relax. The sun had set, and the hotel's streetlights glowed softly. Sitting there, I couldn't help but let my mind wander back to the room upstairs. I wondered what Gary was doing right now. Someone so restless and full of energy like him probably wasn't having much fun cooped up in a cramped room, but somehow that relaxed attitude of his, so carefree and effortless, drove me wild in a way I couldn't explain. When my wine was done, I gave one last glance to my plate and climbed the stairs with slow steps. When I got to the room, everything was so quiet. I opened the door, and the sight that greeted me left me momentarily breathless. Gary had showered and was lying on the bed in just a robe, completely uncovered. His robe slightly open revealed most of his slim, fit body. His damp hair fell over his forehead, and there was a faint smile on his lips as if he were dreaming. My heart started pounding. It was the last thing I expected to find. For a second, I froze by the door, not knowing what to do. Inside me, there was a strange mix of emotions. I felt embarrassed, but I couldn't look away from him. Carmen, what the hell are you doing? He's Logan's son. I scolded myself internally, but my eyes betrayed me. Drawn to the part of his robe that had opened more, what I saw stirred something warm inside me. The small size of the room only made things worse. There was no other bed. It was sleep next to him or spend the rest of the night in a chair. And with this heat, the idea of a chair seemed impossible. I entered the room slowly. Gary's rhythmic and steady breathing filled the space. I took a deep breath, trying to focus, but the chaos inside me made it impossible to think clearly. I had to pull myself together. It's okay, Carmen. I told myself. It's just one night, nothing more. This doesn't mean anything. I wanted to surprise Logan, and now I'm stuck here. Be rational. Stay calm. I took a few steps toward the bed and looked at Gary. The innocent expression on his face only made my already tangled thoughts even more complicated. I sat on the edge of the bed, wondering how I was going to get through the night. In the middle of the night, a soft sound woke me. I barely opened my eyes enough to scan the room. I noticed Gary moving in the bed. He seemed half asleep, running his hands through his hair and scratching his head lightly. I found myself watching him, but I kept my eyes only partially open, pretending I was still drowsy inside, though I was anything but calm. Then I felt his eyes on me. My heart started racing. He was looking at me. I tried to keep acting, maintaining the sleepy look on my face and staying still, but inside I was buzzing with energy. He undid the belt of his robe as he loosened it. It slipped from his shoulders, revealing more of his young, toned body. The way his muscles moved slightly with his motions sent a strange heat through me. I couldn't stop myself. At that moment, I realized two things. I had no control over what was happening, and a part of me didn't even want to stop it. Gary pulled some shorts from the closet, and while he did, he kept looking at me as if trying to figure out if I was awake. His gaze excited me even more. I tried not to give anything away, but at the same time, I let myself get carried away by the moment. After putting on his shorts, he didn't go back to the bed. He sat in the corner chair of the room and started watching me. Being watched with such attention was unsettling and moving, something indescribable inside me. I kept my eyes closed, pretending to sleep, but how long could I keep it up? In the end, I couldn't take it anymore and sat up. When my eyes met Gary's, I made sure my voice didn't tremble as I said, without hiding what I felt. "You're turning me on so much, Gary." I felt those words floating in the air. At that moment, I knew nothing would ever be the same. Gary's eyes flickered for a second. Then he took a deep breath and started speaking. "I don't know, Carmen," he said in a low but firm voice. "We've been living under the same roof for a while since my dad left. The more time we spend together, the more I feel for you. You might not realize it, but sometimes I can't hide the admiration I feel for you. Right now, this feels like a dream." His words caught me off guard, but they also awakened something inside me. He didn't look away. His eyes looked at me with an honesty and passion that completely captivated me. "I have to get up early to fix the car," he continued. Though his voice sounded like he was trying to convince himself, but his gaze didn't waver at all. "Right now, I can't take my eyes off you, Carmen. I've never felt like this." My heart raced at that moment. I moved to the edge of the bed and sat in the chair right in front of him. My eyes locked onto his. The energy between us was so intense that no words were needed. We sat in silence for a moment before I pursed my lips slightly and fixed my eyes on him. "Gary," I said slowly. My voice conveyed curiosity and challenge. "We're talking about the same thing." Gary's gaze deepened as if he wanted to live this moment through feelings rather than words. He didn't respond, but the look in his eyes said it all. And that's when I realized there was no going back for us. When I looked into his eyes, a wave of courage and uncontrollable desire surged inside me. The mix of hesitation and passion in his eyes only pushed me further. I took a deep breath and began speaking again. My voice calm but firm, drawing all his attention. "When I came into the room, you were asleep, your robe a little open, and I couldn't take my eyes off you. It affected me more than I expected. We can't run from these feelings. We both know it." As my words floated in the air, I took a step forward and stood up slowly. His eyes followed every one of my movements. His breathing quickened. I couldn't contain the excitement overwhelming me. My fingers reached the sash of my dress, and as I untied it slowly, I could hear the change in his breathing with every move I made. "I think," I said, lowering my voice to a whisper, "we have to sort things out, Gary." I slowly lowered the zipper at the back of my dress. The fabric slid from my shoulders to the floor. The cool air brushing my skin only fanned the heat I felt inside. His gaze said it all. Surprise, admiration, and a pull. He couldn't resist. The silence between us felt like a bond. Our breaths merged without breaking eye contact. I took another step toward him and said in a low voice, "We'll see if we're really talking about the same thing." Gary's eyes stayed fixed on me, his expression firm and full of fire. Suddenly, he stood up without taking his eyes off me and turned on the room light. The soft glow filled the space. He approached and locked the door. My heart raced at that moment. I felt like the whole world had slowed down, leaving just the two of us. When he took a step toward me, my breathing quickened. He seemed to be trying to read my eyes, but at the same time, he was fully aware of the silent attraction between us. As he got closer, his hands found my waist, and the warmth of his touch felt like an electric current running through my body. Without a word, he leaned in. His eyes settled on my lips. I didn't object. I couldn't. All of this felt natural, like it was meant to happen. When his lips finally met mine, all the inner tension melted away. His kiss was slow and exploratory, but with undeniable passion. My hands instinctively reached his shoulders, feeling his strength and warmth envelop me. The space between us disappeared completely as our breaths mingled. That moment felt like an explosion of all the unspoken emotions between us. Gary's youth and energy clashed with the depth of the passion I'd carried for years. It was the beginning of something, a beginning both terrifying and thrilling. That night, there was no more hiding what we felt for each other. I fell back onto the bed, my body exhausted, but my mind racing. My breathing was still irregular. My foot brushed the fabric of my dress lying on the floor. I felt Gary's gaze on me. An intense and calm energy radiated from his look. A moment later, he crouched down and picked up the dress. His fingers brushed lightly where my foot had been. Even that simple action ignited me. As he held the dress for a second, I could see a flash of hesitation on his face, quickly replaced by determination. He set the dress aside. His hands moved to the edge of the bed. Slowly, he climbed onto the mattress. His movements careful and deliberate as he approached me. The expression on his face betrayed his feelings in equal parts, excitement and magnetic attraction. While he moved to the other side of the bed, I felt Gary's closeness. My heart was still pounding, and my breathing deepened when I saw him lean toward me. I realized that the distance between us had almost completely vanished. It was as if everything had reached a breaking point. There was no turning back. What I felt inside me at that moment was overwhelming. It hurt and excited me at the same time as I looked at the ceiling and could see Gary's face. He was fascinated by the way he brushed his hair back from his forehead with his hand. I could see in his eyes what Gary was feeling. He was flushed with excitement and so happy. I could see he was doing everything with great passion, and it moved me the way he was breathless. Gary had accelerated my emotions to the point that I was glad the car had broken down. "I'll never forget this hotel," Gary said with a trembling voice. His words came out forcefully, each one as heavy as a breath of air. His eyes were fixed on me, but his hands trembled slightly. His body was tense. His muscles contracted with every movement, a little more careful and precise, as if he wanted to preserve a memory. "Definitely, I don't want my dad to sell the car ever again," he added. After these phrases, he collapsed beside me. He closed his eyes without a word and waited for his breathing to recover. He was exhausted and didn't even have the strength to say a word. My legs wouldn't stop convulsing, and I didn't even realize how I fell asleep. The next morning, Gary came back with the car fixed and told me we had to pick up Logan and go to the city. While we were on the road, I was filled with regret and mixed emotions, but at the same time, there was excitement inside me. Looking at Gary, his eyes, his actions, everything about him affected me. Everything was so complicated, but I still didn't know what would happen. I couldn't decide between the questions in my mind and the excitement. There was only one thing I knew for sure. This trip would be the moment everything changed. If you've made it this far, I know my story has thrilled you. Don't miss more. Press the follow button, turn on notifications, and join us by leaving a comment about this story. I can't wait to hear your thoughts.